All right. Osio. Mabudiga. How's everybody doing? This is the Feerce Truth-Seeker. I know it's been a long time. Been MIA, and I apologize for the wait and the delay. It's just been a lot of things going on in my personal life, family life, death in the family, things of that nature. You know, um, had to, take care of a lot of my personal business and stuff like that. So I apologize. So, how y'all doing? Glad to be back. And we are now doing part number 12 of the Marcus Garvey series. This is number 12 of the in the series of the Moors and Indians, friends or enemies. Okay. And this is the segment of that dealing with Marcus Garvey. Okay. So I already shut down and debunked all of the information saying that he was an agent in the other 11 parts to this particular topic. And it's a shame that it has to be revisited. Okay. However, you still have individuals who still want to hold on to that notion. And I was on, let's just say I was in a chat earlier on another channel, and there was this new jack guy by the name of M.O.I, who was doing a presentation on Marcus Garvey, as well as some other topics related to the subject. And it was full of misinformation, and I usually, don't really like to come and crash, other people's presentations and things like that. I usually will just chime in, and leave, just a little comment, but I try not to go too hard. But he took something that because he was saying so many things that was just totally untrue, I couldn't listen to it anymore. I just, but I didn't, at the same time, I wasn't disrespectful, but his ego wouldn't allow him to get any constructive criticism. And so he took it as me being disrespectful, and I wasn't being disrespectful. I just added to the conversation to correct a piece of information that he said. And he actually disrespected me. Otherwise, I would have just left it at that. You know, I made 2 comments initially, and they were not back to back. You know, they were totally unrelated points that he was making. And he tried to act like he was school. I guess, you know, he didn't know who he was talking to. And so he tried to act like he was talking to a rookie, or, you know, someone who just came into this knowledge. And he got all amped up. He was like, yo, Red Rose East, see, you need to do your research and stop listening to what so and so and such said, and you need to read. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, Negro, this is a young Negro too. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, bro, I was teaching on Marcus Garvey and all of that stuff probably before this clown was born, And so he tells me, yeah, you think you know so much, drop your email and drop your email and I dare you. I double dare you. I guarantee you he ain't gonna leave no email. And he's woofing and carrying on. And so I left my email in the chat. And so, he scrolls through. He acts like he's scrolling. Well, he scrolled through. He saw my email, but he acted like he didn't see it. And so, say, see there, I'm scrolling through the whole chat, and not one comment, and not one email in the comment section. And you see there, I told you he gonna disappear. And so, I'm in the chat. I'm like, bro, why you lying? I left my email. As a matter of fact, see, as y'all know, when the Feerce Truth-Seeker speaks, I like to have receipts. So I'm going to show you where this clown was lying. And he had, a whole host of dick riders, in the chat, that were just hugging his nuts. Excuse my expression. Okay. I shouldn't say that. Okay. But when when you have the little monkeys in the background cheering on the big ape, that's what they do. They just that's how a bunch of chimps, with the big orangutan, they always gonna follow, and whatever he says, they're gonna co-sign on. So anyway, I'm gonna pull up the chat. I screenshot. See, if I didn't screenshot it, then people would actually believe that nonsense that he was saying. So give me 1 second. Oh yeah, let me make a couple of phone calls. Hey, Almanasa, what's up, cuz? Yeah. Let's see who we got in the chat here. All right, we got Firebird. I didn't hear back from you, Firebird. I asked you if you wanted to join in. I didn't know you just disappeared. Hey, what's up, cuz? Almanasa. Yeah, thanks for joining in. And so, let me just give me 1 second here. Let me see if somebody else wants to join in. Hold on. Let me call Strong Bear, see if she wants to join in too. Let's see. Give me one, because she called not too long before I started working on this here. Give me 1 second. As I'm doing that, I'm gonna try to pull up these. I screenshotted The information. Hey, I'm doing a live. Yeah, you want to join in? Oh, okay. You don't have to. I can send it to your email. I don't know how to do it through the phone. Okay. I was trying to get Firebird in as well. She's in the chat, but oh, okay, yeah, she was in the chat. Mm-hmm. So she's watching. Okay. All righty. Okay. Okay. So now what I'm doing, I'm trying to get the comments. Give me a second. Okay, I think this is the last comment here. Well, no, it's two more. Just give me 1 second. I got to show the receipts. I got to show the receipts. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. And I'm going to show y'all where this dude, he ran scared and blocked me. He actually blocked me from the comment section. Yeah, I was blocked from the comment section. So he talked about me being scared. He was actually scared. I'm going to show y'all all of this. Just give me 1 second. Name. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Let's see. I'm transferring this stuff over from my phone. Oh, yeah. Got it. My technology has been acting up recently. So it's been very hard for me to do some of these things. Okay, let's see. Let me just make this. It's kind of dark because I didn't know how to screenshot it on my computer. So I had to take a picture from my phone and from my phone, email it to myself, and then from there, no, email it from my phone to another phone, which has my email on there, and then go into my email and then make it a little brighter. So give me 1 second here. Okay, let's see. All right, I think that's, and let's see. Okay, temperature. I'll make it a little brighter. Tint. No, we don't need any tint. Just give me 1 second. I'm just making this so that y'all can see it. Okay, this is good. So now this is 3 B 1 1 3. Okay. All right. Bomb. So now we got receipts. Hold tight. Just getting these receipts together so that nobody says the Feerce Truth-Seeker was lying. Okay, let's see. M.O.I. receipts. And I didn't want to come on his live to debate him because he's not even my peer. He's not even my equal, you know, because I can tell by the things that he's saying he hadn't really done a whole lot of in-depth study on the topic, you know. But, you know, I was just gonna inform him of some things, you know, because, you know, he's not even somebody that is worthy of debating because he doesn't know enough. You know, he's not in my league. So that would just be a waste of time because he hasn't, you know, he hasn't done enough study to show suitable proficiency. Okay. Let's see. Give me 1 second. And let's see. Wait. So it's 3 and 4. Choose. I'm just sending myself these receipts here. All right. Okay. All right. So we got them. We got all of them in here. So now what I want to do is download these receipts here. Give me 1 second so that y'all can see that the Feerce Truth-Seeker is not making this up. Let's see here. Yeah. And again, you know, like I said, I don't try to, you know, trash anybody while they're doing a live or, you know, doing a presentation. You know, I was just really trying to add to the discussion, you know, because you're putting information out there. It's defamation of character, number one, you know, because you're talking about people whose descendants are still living, you know, and you're tarnishing people's name. Not only that, but more so than anything is that you make yourself look really incompetent and stupid by, you know, putting misinformation out like that, you know. You really do. Let me see something. Oh, it's this one. Okay. Download. And this one here, I'll erase. Remove that one. And I'll download this one. Okay. So that's 2. So let me see the other. Oh, let me see. Give me 1 second. I'm just making sure. Okay, let me see. So I'm going to pull up the first. Oh, this is removed. Okay, let me go back. And I pardon. I want to apologize. You know, if this is taking, you know, up time, but I'm doing this live like right on the fly. Okay, so I apologize for that, but I'm doing it on the fly. You know, actually, originally I wanted to do the live I wanted to do the live and just really just, talk about some current affairs, current, things that's going on in the community and stuff like that. But after that whole back and forth in that chat, that just made me change the discussion topic. So that's why everything is like I'm doing everything like, kind of on the fly, and it seems kind of disorganized. That's why. So bear with me. Let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do it like this. Let's see. M.O.I 1. Right. Oh, no wonder. Okay. Hold on. Let me send Strong Bear the link. Give me 1 second. Let me send Strong Bear the link. Go to invite and copy. To see, I'm just gonna say show link. Okay. All right, so it's sent. I sent it to Firebird also. And see, you have these dumb people who were in that particular chat, who some, profess to be Moors, some profess to be American Aborigines. And, some of these people are just so stupid, and they don't practice the culture, and they try to critique indigenous matters. And 9 out of 10 times, the information is inaccurate. They don't know what the hell they're talking about because they don't practice the culture. Like one fool in the audience in that chat, she says, what did she say? She said, what the hell is a red road? She said something like that, critiquing the name of the show. She said, how foolish is it to be called the red road or something like that. And okay, so you claim to be indigenous to this land and you don't even know what the red road is about. I mean, and that's why these people just get laughed at, and ridiculed because they're dumb, just dumb as hell, you know, just a bunch of, I hate to say it, but they say wabbos, that's because that's what a lot of them are. It's like you're professing to be one thing, you're professing to be something that you know absolutely nothing about, especially when you make stupid comments like that and you say, what is a red road? Go to a powwow and you try to ridicule the red road. They may throw you out the gate with foot in your ass and your head flying out the gate and you landing on your head for saying something so dumb. And a lot of these people are just dumb as hell, just dumb. you know. So, you know, I just have to shake my head. But anyway, okay, let me see. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull up. I just gotta email this to myself and then pull it up there. Oh, let's see. I got a response from. Okay, they got the link for the show, so they'll probably be joining us in a couple of minutes. You know, and again, Firebird and Jeanette, y'all don't have to even really put your mics. I mean, put your cameras on if you don't want. I started not to put my camera on because, like I said, this was just on the fly, but I wanted to address this foolishness. You know, okay, compose. Let's see. T. Okay, and I'll get this. Give me 1 second. I knew I should have just done all of them. Okay, we'll do it like that. Choose and send. Okay, now I have it here, and now I'm gonna go on the email. Okay, back. Just hold tight. I'm just as anxious to light into to hear this discussion unfold as you are. I want to get a piece of you. Hello, 1 second. Hey, Dad.
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
I'm good, and you?
Okay, you busy?
I'm doing a live.
Oh, you're doing a live. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Go right ahead, and good luck with that. I'll check the podcast or something.
Okay, I'll call you when I'm done.
All right, buddy.
Okay, then.
Love you.
All right. Love you too. Don't die.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Where were we? We're here. Download. Okay, we got one. Download. It's the second one. Two. And download. And we got one more. Okay, we're on and popping. Okay. So now we can take a look. And let me go to the file here. Downloads there. And we'll look at number one. Oh, wait. Is that one? I guess so. 1, 2, 4. Okay. I think this is the first one. Wait a minute. Let me see. What is that? 4. No, that's 4. Okay, but I'll keep it up anyway. You have to pardon me because my eyes are not what they used to be. It's very hard to see the stuff. Ugh. Okay. Why is this doing this? Just give me 1 second. This is slow. Having some technical difficulty here. Give me a second. Okay, I think this is number 1. Let me make it a little bigger. Okay, so here is the chat. I'm going to share the screen. Let me see. Try to make it as big as possible. All right. I'm going to share the screen. Okay, Windows. Okay. Share. Okay, y'all can see this chat. Sorry for the delay. Now we're rocking. Okay. But you know, I don't like to talk without showing these receipts. So here is the chat. So this brother says, this clown says that he says, drop the link. Drop the link. Not drop the link. He said, no, drop your email. You know, I guarantee you he ain't gonna show up. And so as you can see, this is the chat. Okay, and look at the hand right here. I'm putting the cursor right here. See where it says the Red Road East? Hold on, let me take, give me 1 second. Let me take the comment off so y'all can see this clearly. Matter of fact, let me solo this. Let me solo this so that you get a good view. Let me see. Hopefully that's a little bigger. Let's see. Trying to, it still didn't solo it out. Let's see. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to, how do I do this? Full screen. Oh well. Okay, but y'all can see, I'm looking at it on another computer. Y'all can see it. Anyway, if you look, you can see where it says the Red Road East. Right here. You see my icon. Okay. And you can see he asked me to drop the link. And he pretended like he didn't see my comment. Okay, so this is the first time I left a comment. And you know, all these people here, you know, these are his fans, you know, the apes, the little chimps, you know, the banana eaters, you know, who were ooh-oohing and ah-ahing, you know, and talking trash about myself. Okay, so you can see this is one chat right here. Okay, why don't I see my, I'm looking for the cursor. Wait a minute, let me see. Well, I'm not seeing the hand. Can y'all see it? Oh, okay, yeah, I see. Awanasa says she can see it. Okay, so y'all can see it. All right, cool. So that's one. That's one. Now I'm gonna pull up other. So basically, what he was saying, the first comment he was making, he said that Marcus Garvey. Wait, hold on one second. Hold on one second. Give me 1 second. Let me get something. I'm coming right now. I haven't gone anywhere. Just gotta take off the screen for a second. Okay. Okay. All right. So now he said that Marcus Garvey never taught African nationalism. And again, you know, I'm not a uh back to Africa proponent, or anything of that nature. Uh I do know the history of the Garvey movement as well as the various movements among our people in this country. Okay. MOI and a lot of these people who claim to be Aborigines are not aware of that history. Okay. So they'll make ignorant statements. Obviously he hasn't read anything about Marcus Garvey. He accuses me of listening to X, Y, and Z. First of all, I don't listen to X, Y, and Z. Okay. For your information, MOI, you know, you're a new jack. You're a rookie. Okay. Matter of fact, I'm inclined to believe you got a lot of your information from me. Okay. Because a lot of stuff that I'm hearing you say, nobody was saying it before I did this series on Garvey. So you're probably sneak studying my information, if anything. Okay. My channel predates all of your channels and anyone's channel that is actively creating content in this movement today. Okay. So, you're the new jack. You're not schooling me on anything. Hold on 1 second. OCO. Sent it. Want me to send it again? Okay, let me do it right now. I'm gonna show link. Okay, and I'm gonna paste it, and I'm gonna send. Okay, I just sent it again. Let me know if you got it. Got it. Right. Yep. Okay, yeah, you don't have to you can shut off your mic. I mean, you can shut off your camera. Okay, I see you there. Okay, so what I want you to do, I'm gonna hang up and I want you to hold tight because I'm in the middle of presenting, and then I'm gonna let you in once I finish this point. So don't go anywhere. Just hang tight in the studio. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. So we got Strong Bear waiting in the studio. So I was saying, you know, see these guys, their whole premise is their whole foundation is just to be able to say that they're not from Africa. Okay. And, that shouldn't be your motivating and driving force, because then, it becomes something of a complex. You should be wanting your drive should be to for you to take pride in your heritage, your indigenous heritage, you know, and tell the truth, not just to be able to say, oh, I'm not African. You know, most of our people here in North America were already here before the Africans came here. However, there were Africans that did come here. Okay. And I've already proven that in the previous lectures up to this point. Okay. That's non debatable. Okay. I've already proven that. Okay. And I already proved that our ancestors were going over to the east, and that there were Africans who were coming over here to the west, even before the slave trade. Okay. Then you had those who came here via the slave trade as well. Okay. That's non-debatable. That's anyone who doesn't understand that, you need to do some more research. You need to really take my class. Okay. MOI, you need to take my class. That's really what you need to do. Okay. Because you're not really um in a position to have a debate with me. You know, you can sit in my class. That's pretty much it. You know, you can do that, but you don't have enough knowledge of this stuff. So anyway, he says that Marcus Garvey never taught African nationalism. So I simply said in the comment, Marcus Garvey did teach African nationalism. Okay. And if you read any of God, that just proves that he hasn't read any books on Marcus Garvey, because if he did, he would know that was the foundation of his whole movement, was African nationalism. Okay. He was a nationalist. Okay. Which is different than Pan Africanism. Okay. So I already talked about before how, see, what his stupid ass doesn't know is that I used to sell the books, the Tony Martin books on Marcus Garvey. Okay. Tony Martin put out all of those foundational works on Garvey. Okay. So I used to sell those books People used to come to me for that information. So this clown MOI, he's trying to talk to me like he's talking to a rookie. He was actually disrespectful, not knowing who he was talking to. This guy's a clown. Okay. So anyway, so he goes on and he puts my comment in the chat up on the screen, and he says he says, he tried to change the subject. He said, "Yeah, well, see, the red rose." He said the red rose. See, what an idiot, Again, people who know nothing about the culture. Uh, the res rose. What you got to understand is, you see, uh, uh, there was. See, you got to stop listening to what other people say. I teach on here. I teach on here. See, the thing is that you got to understand that there was Marcus Garvey wasn't the father of the Back to Africa movement. That had nothing to do with my statement. Okay, this dummy doesn't realize that I had been back since the early 90s talking about the people who were proponents of the Back to Africa movement before Marcus Garvey. Okay, Garvey was like, Garvey was like the last one out of a long line of people, and I'd already proven that in the other. This is Marcus Garvey wasn't an agent number 12. I already debunked all of that. I proved all of that back in the other 11 lectures on this topic. Okay, this guy's a rookie. He hasn't actually he hasn't been on the channel. Okay, he put out a video or two. He has got a little bit of information, but he doesn't have the body of content on the topic like I have. Okay, it's not as extensive. His timelines are off. Okay, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's talking about a whole bunch of foolishness. Anyway, let me get Strong Bear in here. Strong Bear, you can unmute your mic. Let me see. Do I unmute the mic for you? Let me see. You're in the chat. Strong Bear, you can unmute your mic.
Hello?
Yeah, I hear you now.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Hello? Is it on my end or anyone in the chat? Let me know if you can hear me. Press a 1. If you can't hear me,
I can't hear
0.
you.
Can y'all hear me in the chat? Let me know, because I need to do this audio check. I don't want to keep talking and y'all can't hear me. I know that happened before and nobody said anything. Can y'all hear me?
Hear you.
You can hear Strong Bear, but can you hear me, Awanasa? Can you hear me? I can hear Strong Bear too, but she says she can't hear me. So I want to know if that's the same to you all in the chat. Strong Bear, can you hear me? Audio is clear. Okay. Let me text Strong Bear. 6. Let me see. Let me text her, let her know it's on her end. me see. Strong Bear, they can hear me. Period. I think it's on your end. You might have to go out and come back in. You might have to go out and come back in. Wait. You might have to go out and come back in. Can you hear me now, Strong Bear? Okay. So she's gonna go out and come back in. So yeah. So anyway, so this MOI guy, he all throughout the presentation, he's giving misinformation. He's give his timeline is all off. He's saying things like the African centered paradigm comes from Franz Boas. Okay, number one, anyone who I would also say MOI, Minister of Misinformation. Exactly. So if you look at Franz Boas, okay, Franz Boas was not the first one to talk about that stuff. Okay. Franz Boas, before Franz Boas, you had people who were talking about and Africans. And we talked about this already too in one of the previous, I think the last lecture that I did on the topic of Strong Bears in. Okay, let me bring her in, add to the stream. Okay, can you hear me now? Strong
Yes,
Bear?
I can hear you. Yes, very
Okay,
much so.
good. Yeah, so this gentleman, I was in on a conversation, not on a conversation, I was listening to another YouTuber's channel, and he had a guest on there that was talking about Marcus Garvey, and he was saying Marcus Garvey exposed. That was the name of the show, Marcus Garvey exposed. Okay.
Hmm.
And it was on Crumb TV. Um, I don't have anything against the channel. He was a guest on the channel, and so he made some comments about Garvey, and it was misinformation. So, I was simply correcting a couple of his errors, not in a disrespectful way, but just adding to the conversation. When you check the tone of my comment, I wasn't trying to be disrespectful, but he was constantly kicking people out of the chat that didn't agree with what he was saying. And he had you know a couple of chimpanzees, who were, you know um oohing and on the orangutan, who was spewing the misinformation. This person here named Homicide, as you can see on the screen, right under my name, you see the Red Road East, right under my show's name, rather, right under the Red Road East is this person named Homicide. You know, he was, one of the biggest orangutans, or one of the biggest chimps rather, because he wasn't an orangutan. The MOI was the orangutan. But everything that he said, he was. you know, and so he had a couple of them, a lot of them in the chat. He was just co-signing on all of his misinformation. And see, these people, their whole philosophy is founded on the idea of we're not African. And that's the motivating force is just to be able to say we're not African, and that it shouldn't be that. Your motivating force should be to tell the truth and set the record straight. Okay. And a lot of these people who are saying they're not African, more than likely they have African blood themselves, because you know depending on where you're from, we know that there were Africans that came here in pre-Columbian times and in post-Columbian times. Okay. And so that's not to say that's everybody's story, but genealogy is personal. There's no uh there's no one size fits all when it comes to genealogy. You have to do your own personal genealogy. When people say, oh, we're this and we're that, there is no we're this and we're that. What does your genealogy say? Because your genealogy is not the same as my genealogy. My genealogy is not the same as your genealogy, Strong Bear. We all, you know what I'm saying? We all
Yeah.
have our own personal genealogy. So, but they just want to be able to say, I'm not African, you know, and you hear them making these ridiculous statements. So, because Marcus Garvey had a back to Africa movement and talked about black national, another piece of misinformation he said that he was bigging up W.E.B. Du Bois and the Talented Tenth and all of that. And he said that Garvey had a problem with those guys. And I was explaining to him, yes, Garvey had a problem with them because those guys were Uncle Tom's. Then he goes and that was my other comment. And then he goes and he says, yeah, see, the Reds rose east. Oh wait, we still have this on the screen. Let me exit
You
stop.
can mock people good.
He say, see, the red rose east, see, WEBT, Uncle Tom, see, you got to do your research. You got to stop following people and listen what this one and that one say. You see, because, see, Uncle Tom, what you got to understand is, Uncle Tom, you got to do your research on Uncle Tom, see, because Uncle Tom wasn't really Uncle Tom. He was one who was for our people. And this babbling baboon, this stupid idiot, doesn't know that, you know, I knew the history of Uncle Tom probably before this clown was born. Okay. I got that information right on my bookshelf, and it's got dog ears that's just crumbling off the pages. That's how old you know what I'm saying? That's how old the book is. It may be new to him, because he just dropped out of his mother's pelvis 2 days ago, but it's not new to me. But I was using Uncle Tom as just a figure of speech. And as um, Jeanette, that back in the days, that was, now they say coon, but back in the days, as you used to say Uncle Tom,
Oh yeah. Oh
you
yeah.
know.
Oh yeah.
But I know the history of Uncle Tom. Of course, that's old. That's old news, you
Mhm.
know. But anyway, so he goes on about that. And so he tells me to drop the link, drop my email in the chat, and he challenges me. And I left my email several times. I left my email about 3 times. And I just showed a receipt in the chat. I screenshotted the chat. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show another one. Here's
Mhm.
another time when I left my email. 1 second. So that's one. Let's see. I think this is the second one. Let me see. Let me make this a little bigger. I think this is the first one. Let me see. Yeah, it's the same one. Okay, not this one. Um, Okay, no, not this one. One second. Is it this one? Yeah. So here's the next one. So he says, so he said he didn't, he said he scrolled and he didn't see my chat. He said that he didn't see my email anywhere in the chat. And so I left it again. I said, and I said, why are you lying? You know, I left my email already. And so as you can see here, I know it's kind of grainy a little bit because I took the photo. I took it. It was a photo. Um, and you can see this chimpanzee right here, Omasade. He says, Red Road East, kick rocks, ninja. Okay, and then uh, Miss Latina Jordan Todd, let's go. Where's this one here? Don Fresk. So I know my eyes, I can't really make that out. It says, "Where's your email at, bro?" Okay, as you can see, if you look down, you see my email right here. You see it says the Red Road East. Can you see that? Oh, I didn't share. Oh, my screen is not sharing. Oh man, I'm looking at the other screen. It's not sharing. Hold on. Let me see. Dang, I'm here thinking that it's sharing. Let me see. All right, let me. I thought I'm sharing the screen. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so here it is here. So if you look up on the screen, this is another screenshot. This is another time where I left my email. So if you see this person right here, I'm aside, right up at the top. That's the chimpanzee. Okay, it says Red Road East, kick rocks, ninja. Miss Latina Jordan Todd, let's go. Gone Frex. Where's your email at, bro? And they see my email right here. As you look, you see my email right down here. You see where it says the Red Road East? Can you see that, Strong Bear?
Yes, I can see it. Yes.
Yeah, it says the Red Road East right here. It says, and there's my email right there. You see?
It also says you're an agent.
Yeah, somebody says you're an agent. This Nick Maynor, he's another
Yeah, it says you're an agent.
chimpanzee. As you can see, he's got an icon of a chimpanzee showing that he's a chimpanzee. You know,
Well, he knows what he is.
he knows what he is. you know, so these people, they know what they are. You
Yeah,
know,
deep down inside.
you know. Just look at the icons. You know, and somebody this J something J
Edmund. It look like Edmund. Edmund.
Edmund, yeah, something like that. J Edmund, keyboard faceless gangsters. My face is on the screen. But anyway, this
What
is
help?
these are his followers. So Anyway, so as you see, I'm. It's a good thing that I took a picture. Otherwise they'd have took that and ran with it. So y'all see, I left my email. This is the second time. You see, this is different parts of the chat where I'm leaving my email. That's number two, right? And so, he's saying, what else did he say? He said it was so much misinformation. Uh hey, shout out to cousin Halima. What's up, Halima? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah. So let me stop sharing this right here. And and so hold on, let me see. on the screen. Put cousin Halima's comment on the screen there. Yeah. And so let me see who else before I go on. Let me see who else we got in the chat. Let's see. Who else we got here? Jeff. Let me see. Billings Eel. The brother of M.O.I. is an agent. He's a Prince Hall Mason and enemy of our struggle. Okay. So, you know, and, I mean, these people, but they continually put out misinformation. And it's sad because what happens is misinformation goes viral. You know what I mean, Strong Bear?
Yes, I do.
Misinformation goes viral. Oh, Awanasa says he's a 30. Let me see. Let me see another. Let me look up here. I see it on the other computer. I'm trying to find. Say he's a. Oh, so y'all are familiar with this guy. I just, matter of fact, I just heard of this guy today. Actually, no, I saw, how they, um, you see little things on the side on YouTube, things pop up on the side of your screen. I saw something where he was, of his on the screen where you can click on it the other day. But I just this week, I just found out about this clown. So when I say M.O.I. is a 32nd degree Mason and a chef. Oh Lord, I don't know if I want to try that food, you know. And so yeah, so he also said, what did he say? Oh, but let me show my proof, right? So I mean, like I said, all you have to do is do any research on Garvey. That was the foundation of his movement, Black nationalism. Okay, they wanted to create. See, we know that most of our people were Aboriginal here. Okay, but you even had people who were Aboriginal before Garvey who had Black nationalist organizations and organizations that was talking about going back to Africa and things of that nature. Okay. Um, and what it was, it wasn't that they were agents and this, that, and the other. No, it was that at the climate at that time, you had a lot of lynchings, you had a lot of discrimination, and the people were experimenting. They were trying to do things here with no success. Okay, so that's why they started entertaining going elsewhere, because you gotta remember, our people as we've always been a migratory people.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you know, we go, you know, we go where there's game, you know, depending on what time in history you're talking about, what cultures you're talking about, you know. And there's a period where, we were more settled, and we did, agriculture and this, that, and the other, you know. And then you go more ancient times, where we would go to faraway lands and do seafaring, okay, and things of that nature. So that's not a foreign concept to us, But if you are somebody who is locked into a paradigm, like I said before, they're locking into a paradigm called the Aboriginal movement. But during the time of Garvey and during the time of those before Garvey, okay, he's just discovering, this guy M.O.I. is just discovering those people before Garvey, like Paul Cuffey, Martin Delaney,
Oh
okay,
yeah. I forgot
Bishop,
about them. Oh yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
Bishop Henry McNeil Turner, you
Yeah.
know, uh, Prince Hall, you know,
Oh
scores
yeah.
of it's a lot of them. There's a lot of them.
And
Okay.
the bishop, the one with the what's his name, that founded the AME church. Didn't he lead a
Oh,
didn't he
you talking about Absalom Jones
the
and
other one, not Absalom,
um
the
yeah,
other one
Absalom
where
and
they had a whole
Abs-
boatload of people, they took them to Liberia. Remember with the help
yeah,
of Frederick Douglass?
yeah. You had
Um
let me get
some
my notes. Hold
Richard
on.
his name was Richard
Richard Allen.
Allen, yeah, out of
Yeah,
Philly.
Richard
Yeah.
Allen. Yeah, you know, and that was before that was okay. You talking about that was long before Garvey.
Oh yeah, that's 19th century.
Okay, Garvey came. He was just following in a tradition that was already going on
Set
here.
up. Yeah.
Okay, and so they they were into the whole Christian thing. Okay,
Yeah.
and they were following that African centered paradigm because they were Judeo Christian. And when you read in the Bible, that's what it's orientated towards the East.
Yeah, the East.
Okay.
Yeah, most of
So,
us came from that perspective.
exactly. But they're trying to take modern ideologies such as Aboriginal movement and make it retroactive. And you can't do that because
Mhm.
the Aboriginal movement did not exist, M.O.I, at that time.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, that's not to say that you didn't have individuals who were saying, we're from here. We didn't come from Africa, this, that, and the other. You always had individuals, but as a school of thought and a movement, that did not exist in Garvey's time and before. Okay. So, you know, if you want to talk about in terms of a movement, you want to look at the Prophet Noble Drew Ali,
Mhm.
okay, who said that the Moors were living up and down the Mississippi before the white man came here, okay, and knew that we were already here, okay, which, you know, he's not looking into it that deeply, you know.
Mhm.
So anyway,
Well, he
let me,
built upon the shoulders of others, you know, and he
yeah,
had from what I understand, he had a worldwide organization.
yeah, of course there were others,
Yeah,
before him, you know, of course. But now
he had a
we're
lot of
talking,
problems.
yeah. But we're talking about in terms of a movement.
Yeah, I believe
You know,
he after you brought up the other names, he built upon what they had already established.
exactly. You
You know,
know, that's why he called Marcus Garvey his John the Baptist.
yeah.
You know, plus there were others even before. Who were saying that we were Moors even before Noble Drew Ali.
Hmm.
You know, uh, another subject for another
Yeah, I think
time.
it would be nice to do a story on that because I told
Mm-hmm.
you that I was even interested in Noble Drew. You know, I was really interested in Noble Drew Ali myself.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know a lot of. I've read bits and pieces, and I've heard people say different things. You know, so
Yeah.
that's something that I'm really interested in as well.
Yeah, well, that's what when we talk about Aboriginal movement. That's where it comes from. It comes out of the Moors.
Yeah, and I know in 125th Street used to be a lot of brothers that was on this, and a lot of them. That's how I know about it.
Mm-hmm.
From the brothers on 125th Street.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. That's how I found out about it.
Yeah, but they were
Yeah.
in the 80s and the 90s and stuff. They were because I started coming around like in the 80s
Yep.
80s,
Yep.
90s.
Yeah, me too. You know,
Yeah.
and I was walking the red road, and then I ran into these Moors, who were saying this stuff. So that's how I know where it comes from, you
Yeah.
know. And so, but these people here who like MOI and stuff like that, they don't know anything about the red road, you know.
No. I got a question to ask you. What do you think about the natives being up from the tribe of Gad? And I know that the language, I've seen some shows where it shows like the Cherokees and stuff, that
Hmm.
because of the language, and they feel that they were one of the tribes of Israel. The Israelites used to always say that.
There's something to it. Um,
The Hebrew is similar to, you know,
yeah, there's something to it, but that's not across the board.
mhm.
I hear them saying that, but it's not across the board.
I've seen
You know,
shows on that.
yeah, I've
I've
seen
seen I've seen
plenty of
shows on
shows.
that on
I got
YouTube.
plenty of documentation here talking about
Yeah.
that, books and stuff like that, but it doesn't apply to every tribe.
Yeah. I know they said the Cherokees. I don't know about the other ones.
Yeah,
I know I heard Cherokee.
yeah, but yeah, I don't buy it. There may be some influence, you know, here and there, but you know, like I say, each tribe is different,
Yeah.
you know, and there were tribes here, you know, there's many languages spoken here, you know, and you can't just take a blanket statement and say that, those Judeo-Christian um, characteristics apply to every tribe, you know, and that's another subject for another time. I can do a
I think that would be
presentation
nice
on
too.
that. Hmm.
I think that would be nice too, because really, because I know that they used to be out there. They used to say the Native Americans were the tribe of Gad, and I remember that specifically came from the tribe
Hmm.
of
Yeah, I mean, like I say, there's something to it. You
Gad. Hmm.
know, like if you look into certain tribes, let's say like the let's say like the Tainos, right? They found
Hmm.
these artifacts that one indigenous woman had in her possession, and it had Hebrew writings on it, and it was found to be authentic.
Hmm.
Okay, and I have that information here. We can talk
Hmm.
about
And
that.
that's what the Tainos in the Caribbean.
Right.
Hmm.
Exactly. They were also here on the mainland too.
Hmm.
Yeah, they were also on the mainland, um, penetrating, you know, far south. Some say into like the Carolinas.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely Florida.
Wow.
Hmm.
Yeah, well, the Florida would make a lot of sense because I'm quite certain a lot of people from
It's
the
right
island
there.
is
It's
right
right.
there. Cuba's right there. And tell you the truth, the
Hmm.
Bahamas is even closer. Cuba's 90
Exactly.
miles, the Bahamas is like 40.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah,
And
it's like 40.
they found Arawak influence in some of the languages here. That's
Yeah,
another subject for another time. I have that in my notes, but I don't like
but
to
that would
speak.
more so be for the people that's in this that's far. That wouldn't be up in the, like the northern. It wouldn't be like in Virginia or like New York. That would be more so maybe Mississippi, like along the Gulf. But they would have more interaction with those people.
Yeah, like I said, I don't want to speak on that right now without my notes being in front of
Okay.
me.
All right. I understand.
Um, yeah, because I don't want to misquote anything. But what I can say right now, just off of memory,
Mm,
is I remember reading that they penetrated as far as up into from Florida up into like South Carolina, you know,
mm,
um, right off of my head, you know.
mm.
But I like I said, I have to have my notes and we can talk about that. But I don't want to deviate too far from the topic at hand,
Mm-hmm.
which is this clown,
Okay.
M.O.I. And so he goes on to talk about Marcus Garvey being a political puppet and this, that, and the other. And see, again, this goes to show that he hasn't done any research on Garvey whatsoever. He's looked at a bunch of memes and things of that nature, and just copied what other people have said. But that's not true. Garvey was not into politics. Okay, Garvey was against voting. Okay,
Oh,
uh,
really? Oh, I didn't know
Garvey, of course, Garvey was what you call an orthodox black nationalist.
that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and their whole philosophy is, we can't vote our way to freedom. Okay, that was W.E.B. Du Bois, you know, and the whole Coon
The
crew.
talented tenth. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, who was talking
Yeah.
about integrating. Okay, but Garvey was, and he wasn't even a Pan Africanist. He was a nationalist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so his whole thing was, you know, we don't need to integrate. Du Bois and them wanted to integrate. The NAACP and them wanted to integrate. And I also, he said Du Bois wasn't a coon. Okay, wasn't an Uncle Tom. Blah blah blah. And he say he was down. He was for the people. Blah 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 blah. And I commented. I said, no, brother. I said, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, Du Bois and them were promoting a color cast of they wanted a color cast elite of light skinned leadership. They didn't like Garvey because Garvey was dark skinned. He
Yeah,
said
he
they
didn't
said
fit the bill. I remember I had read something about he was talking about he went into the office and when they had an office up here on 125th Street or wherever, and he was talking about how all of them looked, and he was really nasty to Garvey.
yeah, yeah.
He was
See, they
very
say
nasty to Garvey.
yeah. And so MOI was saying, Garvey had a problem with, our people here because, they were the Aborigines and blah, blah. That's BS, what he's talking about. That's what those people were coons because they wanted, they said, and I quote, they said, Marcus Garvey is too dark skinned, and I quote, was too dark skinned to lead our people.
Yeah, it was the rivalry between them was like really really bad.
Yeah. And I even showed the receipts in
Yeah,
the previous lectures. I showed the receipts
yeah, it
and
was
I
really bad.
quoted them verbatim, word for word. I read word for word their whole quotations. Okay. And so, you know, MOI is he's very misinformed, and he's got these little imps and uh niglets and nigresses and niggas and niggettes that follow him, okay, and even the little nigletitas, following him as well, and just you have information going viral, misinformation. I'm sorry, you got misinformation going viral. Yes, you're 1,000% correct. And also WB
Yeah,
Du Bois
he died in
died in
Africa
Africa
because
because he
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 kind of
came
changed as he got older.
he came around later
He
on.
came around. Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he came around later on, but during during his heyday,
Like in
he
the
was a coon.
30s, 20s, and oh, he was very nasty. They were
Yeah.
very nasty to Garvey. It was really nasty.
Mm-hmm.
I know
But
Garvey had to feel a certain way about that because he was they. I mean, it was really nasty.
yeah, and
But,
again,
but I was told that that's the whole thing with the civil rights movement. It was for middle class blacks because
mm-hmm,
they couldn't go into hotels. It wasn't for poor people. For the poor, it was like Dr. King and and his betters.
yeah,
Dr. King and the middle class blacks that wanted to go into the hotels and they wanted to drink from the white water fountain and
right.
not poor. The poor black people couldn't afford that.
And that's what MOI, that's his philosophy. They are the type, they want to integrate, and they want to, you know go to the toilet with white folk,
Yeah,
drink
go to the
from the water,
bathroom and
drink
yeah,
from the water fountains, and this, that, and the other. That's what he would have been rocking with back then,
and eating
while
it at the restaurants and
and getting spat upon, you know
wanted to go.
and yeah, and white boys putting their foot up their ass. MOI would have been bending over, waiting to get a foot in his ass. Back then, they'd have spit,
Yeah,
he'd have went and ordered his food. They'd have spit on there and take that. Here's your
yeah,
food. You
yeah.
know,
Spitting the
he,
food and all that. Yeah,
he's the type who would, say, well, let's pray for the white man. The white man tell him, well, your prayers ain't going nowhere, but no, not even 2 inches further than your old nigger head. You
yeah.
know, and MOI would have just sat there. You right, Massa. You is right. You is real right. Okay, yo, Massa, whatever you say. We
We
is,
sick. Look at here. We
we is
sick.
sick. We is niggas. We sick. You right.
You sick. We sick too.
We sick. You right, Massa. Whatever you say.
Oh Here, give
That's
me. I gotta. I'll be right back. I gotta feed this cat. He worrying me. I'll be right back.
okay. So yeah, that's MOI. MOI. The white man tell him to jump. MOI would be like, oh, how high, Massa? Oh, us niggas, we could jump real high. Oh, I could jump higher than a giraffe, Massa. You want to see? I could. They talk about the Maasai tribe, but I'm telling you, Massa, I can jump higher than the Maasai. You want to see? Watch me. See how high I just jumped, Master? I jump is real high. My name is M.O.I. And I could jump real high. You see how wide my eyes can stretch? I can stretch my eyes real big for you, Master. Okay. So, um, these people are clowns, man. I mean, where do they get this misinformation from? You know, it's we know that we're aboriginal to the land, but that doesn't mean you got to go extra hard just to prove it a point where you have to make up information, create a false narrative. Okay, our people have always been a migratory people, a seafaring people. Okay, contrary to popular belief, okay, Americans were seafarers too. Okay, so you say, well, why would American Indians be trying to go to Africa? You know, again, we're not locked into any one geographical area. Okay, our people all over the globe. Okay, so if there was no hope here, then what's wrong with them trying to go somewhere where they can create something that they run? Okay, you have to look at it from more than one perspective. You just have tunnel vision. Okay, but you have to put yourself in that time and day and look at the climate, look at the racial climate at that time. Okay, so he's saying, what else did he say? uh he said that there was another point that he was arguing with me on. Oh, yeah. So the whole point about black nationalism, that was what we, before I was showing how high M.O.I could jump. So all you got to do is read the book Race First, or The Philosophy and Opinions of Marcus Garvey. Just those two books alone, and you can see that M.O.I doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay, Garvey wasn't being used by the establishment. It was actually the NAACP that was being used by the establishment to counter Garvey. Okay, so he doesn't know what he's talking about. And then he even, M.O.I, when I critiqued him on something else. What was it? Or when I talked about the color cast, he said, actually, you know what? You're right. Yeah. You're right. So he even admitted that I was right, on another comment, but his ego wouldn't allow him to say that I was right about all the other stuff. You see? That's what a big ego will do. But anyway, I want to pull up this next one to put the icing on the cake. Let's see here. Number 4. 1, 2, 3. Where is it? Is it this one? Let me see. No. Okay. It's not that one. Give me 1 second. Yes. It's this one. Okay. And so if I can move this over. And what I'll do now is share the screen. So to put the icing on the cake, you can see right here that at this point here, he kept saying that I didn't leave the email. And I tried to leave a comment and also leave my email again. And if you look Wait, let me clear the screen. Let's see. Okay. Let me make this a little bigger. Make it big enough so we can see what he did here. Let me see. So I tried to leave my email a third time, and as you can see here, I was blocked. So he was talking trash on his live, talking about I'm scared and I wouldn't dare come in and blah 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 blah, you know. And all the while, you see, what does it say here? I tried to leave a comment, and it says, you have been placed in timeout by the owner of this video or a moderator. Okay. And so he was talking all this trash, and he was about to go on and on and on. And very conveniently, he says he's got to go, you know, and end the show. So he obviously didn't want me to come on and say what I had to say. You see what I'm saying? He didn't want me to come on and say what I had to say because he knew, and I wasn't the only one. There was other people who was pointing out the fact that this guy was lying. Matter of fact, one dude said, "Yo, you straight up lying," and he kicked the guy out of the chat. So anyone who didn't co-sign on what he was saying, he kicked them out. As you can see, the same thing he did with me. You know, peace to the Cobra Assassin. Islam, peace. Thanks for joining. Okay, because he knew he knew he was lying. Okay, but he wanted to get hits and views and you know stuff like that. I know what you're doing, bro. You know, I know what you're doing. You know, you're trying to make your bread, so you lie to the people. Okay, but anyway, so again, these people, their whole thing is just to say that they're not African. However, you know, there were Africans that came here. Were they in the majority? No, they were in the minority. Okay, but you had at different time periods, you had Africans that came here as explorers. Okay, and you had Africans that came here as indentured servants. Okay, and again, let me pull up a little something. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I have this. I'm going to stop sharing this. I'm going to see if I can. Oh, he also talked about how the Arawaks, he said the Arawaks, he said most of the people in the Caribbean are African. And he said the Arawak Indians and the Caribs were exterminated. Okay. And that's a lie. Okay. Because I have that ancestry on my maternal side. Okay. And there are people such as the Garifuna. Okay. And they speak the Carib and Arawak language. Okay. So what is he talking about? Okay. What the hell is he talking about? That's just like somebody from the Caribbean say, oh, well, all of the Indians in North America are dead. Okay. It's the same, So it goes to show he's poorly read, you know. I told him, he needs to study more, which he does. Okay. He does. When you say foolishness like that, it shows, your level of research, and it's very anemic. MOI, your research is very anemic. Okay. So he also talked about, so he said, well, most of the people in the Caribbean are African. Um, he said that, you know, they brought the Haitians came here and, they were Africans and, they brought their voodoo and, this, that, and the other. And, you know, first of all, voodoo voodoo, Haitian voodoo is you have African rights and you also have indigenous rights, okay, from the Arawak. Okay, I talk about this in one of my publications. Okay, so it's not solely African. All right, but anyway, you see certain retentions of that culture in certain things that we do here. um again, in certain traditions like hoodoo, um and things of that nature, as well as the indigenous here blended in with that. But just the fact that you have African deities in the pantheon tells you that there is an African influence, okay, in these traditions, such as you got Ogun, African, okay, you got Papa Legba, it's African, okay, um, Oshun, African, that's Yoruba, okay, and I know Strong Bear, you know that very well, just as well as I do. Am I right? Am I lying? Am I right or am I wrong? We can't. Your mic is muted.
You're on point. The one that look at me identifies with Native American is a Chosi.
Right.
A Chosi is identified as Native American.
The tracker.
All the other pantheons is African based.
Mm-hmm.
Shango. Shango
That's
was,
right.
you remember he was supposed to be the king that hanged himself? No,
Yeah,
Shango hanged
Shango.
himself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Shango. And you got in the Caribbean, you got the Shango Baptist.
Yeah. And Trinidad. In
Mm-hmm.
Trinidad, there's Shango Baptist. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is their form of, of well, I won't say their form of leukemia, but they sing the songs in English, it's just the language difference. But
Mm-hmm.
apparently that those that they brought there must have been Yoruba in origin.
Yeah.
That they brought
And
to that.
you
Yoruba and
look at you look at the Mardi Gras Indians,
yeah,
they talk about uh their roots as being both African and Indian.
yeah,
This is what they say. It's not what I say. You know.
yeah. One of the main spirits they honor is Black Hawk. You know Black
Mm,
Hawk, right? spirit of
Of
Black
course.
Hawk.
Of course.
And they keep him to keep his head in the bucket.
See?
That's how they, you know, deal with Black Hawk. So that was someone that was
Interesting.
tied to their land. That they had to have a history against oppression and was a warrior spirit. And he was a warrior in real life. Chief
Yeah.
Black.
Yeah. So you have a blend.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
Very much
you have
so.
a blend of the African and indigenous in their tradition. And this is what they say, you know.
Also Europeans. Because Europeans came
Right.
there too. And they
Exactly.
brought and white folks practice the cult too. And
Yeah.
it's very
Yeah.
heavy in England, it's very heavy in Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
It's very heavy in Scotland. You got the Scottish Rite.
Right.
Remember when
Yeah.
what's his name? He had to go get a charter. He had to go to England to get the charter. I'm talking about what's his name? Prince Hall.
Prince Hall. Mm-hmm.
He had to go to England to get a charter. And the first time he gave, from what I understand the story, he gave the money to someone he knew, a man that he knew, to start. The man never gave the money to he never, when he got over to England, he never set up anything. He stole them. He stole Prince Hall's money.
Mm.
Look it up. He stole
Mm.
Prince Hall's money. The first man he gave his money to start the chart, he stole it. Then he had to go find his other friend and pray to God that, you know, he would do right by him.
Wow.
And he was from the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Prince Hall was from Barbados.
They say it's from Barbados.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, he was from Barbados. But he was a free person of color.
They you know, they're not 100% sure, but they say that they do believe he was from Barbados.
He was from Barbados, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he had a hard time.
Because there's a lot of mystery around
Prince Hall.
You know, Prince Hall's life. So some say he was, some say he wasn't. You know, that's a whole nother topic. That's a whole nother topic for.
Wasn't he based in Massachusetts?
Mm-hmm.
He was based in Massachusetts.
Yeah. There's a whole nother, you know, that's a whole nother topic in and of itself, you know.
Yeah, I don't know that much about. I just know bits and pieces of him too. I don't even know, like, you know, do he have any descendants?
That's a good question.
Do you have any descendants now? Because I don't know if he was
question.
married. I don't know, you know, too much about him. I would have to ask one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good question.
Because it seemed like he, you know, it seems like he would have some sort of descendants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then you got some who say, you know, he was Benjamin Banneker. You know, so I can say that's a whole nother topic, you know, for another time. You know, that's a whole, you know, and it goes even deeper than that. Yeah, but
I was always very drawn to Benjamin Banneker, and I know that he did a lot for the founding, the so-called founding of this corporation that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
Surveying, and he was their equal. He wasn't no slave.
Yep, he was their equal. Yep.
He knew mathematics. He knew astronomy. He knew astrology. And he had to do all that in his head.
Yep.
With no computers.
That's right. That's right.
And I know that after he did, I know he went back. I know he was a farmer. He grew tobacco, and I know he raised pigs and stuff. And he wanted to go back to it after because he was away for months doing this. And he wanted to go back to his farm.
Okay.
But I heard that when he died, then when they were burying him, I heard that somebody, I guess, I don't know if it was white folks or what, came into his cabin, burned his cabin down. Did you hear about that part?
That part, no.
When he died, they were burying him, and it seems like they burned down, if I'm not mistaken, they burned down his cabin, or they stole or destroyed his, he had built a clock, he had built a watch and all that, like
Right.
all of his experiments
Mm-hmm.
were gone.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they burned down his cabin.
The
If I'm not
almanac.
mistaken. Huh?
Yeah, the almanac.
His almanac, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All of his experiment, not just experiment, all his inventions were gone. They burned down. I know his cabin was burned down.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
understand they had to bury people at night. At least bury they're dead at night. But
Wait,
with
say
him,
that again. You broke up. Say that again.
I know that for what I've read is slavery, that they could only bury people at night.
Mm.
When people on plantations, they buried their dead at night.
Mm-hmm.
They had to work during the day. So
Mm.
from what I understand, they buried the dead at night.
Mm.
Now y'all can check me on that, but I remember
Mm-hmm.
reading that.
Mm.
And I know that they were buried. He had passed and he was being buried, but somebody burned down his cabin. And I'm not exactly, and they didn't know where his all of his inventions.
Mm.
They either stole them or burned them up. Probably
Mm.
stolen.
Yeah. And see, there's a whole story around that too. Because like I say, it gets deep. That's a whole nother topic for
Oh,
another
that's a
time,
whole
because
nother
they say,
topic. Okay.
yeah, because they say he was actually, and that's because he was actually the same person as Benjamin Franklin. Like I say, it goes
So
deep.
wait a minute, they say Benjamin Banneker was Benjamin Franklin?
It's a lot. Yeah, I can't validate it, but that's some of the information that's out there.
So what,
you
they just
know
making up folks?
hey, it's like I say, that's a whole nother discussion for another time.
Mm-hmm.
But they're saying that's why you don't find any evidence of
Mm.
the stuff that he, that why it was, burnt down, and you don't find any evidence of it. Like I say,
Really?
I can't say yay or nay. you
Yeah.
know I can
Wow.
just say, what some of the oral tradition that comes out of certain Moorish circles,
Uh-huh.
you know that we were taught. you know like I say, I can't say yay or nay, but
Mm.
that's what I've heard throughout the years.
Wow.
But
I
that's
didn't know that.
just certain oral
Yeah. Wow.
lessons. But
But that's right. He did experiment. He used to experiment too.
hmm
Ben Franklin. He used to yeah, he did that too.
yeah, but like I say, that's a whole nother discussion
That's a
for
whole nother.
another
That would
time.
be interesting to that would be interesting because these are people that we grow up with, that we learn about in Black history.
hmm
You learn about Prince Hall.
Yeah.
You learn about
Yeah.
uh you learn about Benjamin Banneker. I always was very drawn to him.
hmm
Just reading, because when my son was young, I used to, buy books and read it, read to him, and Mary McLeod Bethune, and different things, different folks, people that
hmm
had accomplishments.
Yeah.
That's why I know, and I remember for reading the books with him.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah, very deep
we didn't
individual.
really learn too much or anything like that. It wasn't until I got a much older where I learned more of a true sense of a true purpose of history. I remember I have a book. I don't have it. I don't think I have anymore. I think I left it at the old apartment where it said that when Columbus came, that the native people were so glad they thought he was some kind of god, and they got down in knees and this is the kind of nonsense they were teaching us, and this is before my
Hmm.
time.
Yeah.
You know, it's the old history books, and
Yeah, I've heard all of that too.
that they
Yeah.
were so glad to see him, and they thought that he was a god. They was like so much in awe of him. Now, I don't know what I, child, please, Lord have mercy.
Oh man,
That's all I
you
gotta
know,
say. Lord have mercy.
exactly. But now, back to the topic at hand with Marcus Garvey. You can't take these modern ideologies. See, the thing with a lot of these guys who call themselves Aborigines, they've taken parts of more science and
Mm-hmm.
created a new narrative, but they left the more part out of it. So they get stuck because they hijacked the more part. And when you leave out, it's just like, say, for instance, right? Let's take like some famous Amos cookies, right? You remember, you're old enough to remember famous Amos.
Oh yeah. Oh
Remember
yeah.
famous Amos cookies? I'm not talking about famous Amos cookies. I'm talking about back in the days, famous Amos cookies.
Well, they would taste it much better. Yeah.
They tasted much better.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what happens when, you know, a new company takes over. They start to try to leave out certain things to cut corners, to make a profit. And then you don't have the product doesn't have the same appeal, because you've left certain key ingredients out of it, So
It
what
did
these
change.
guys,
It did change when he sold the company.
yep,
I the cookies did taste different.
they do
I
taste different.
I suppose he sold them the recipe, but I don't know how it was mass produced.
Yeah, they obviously they left certain ingredients out, you know, to make more profit,
Yeah.
But those cookies, though, man, famous Amos, man. I mean, when you ate a famous Amos cookie, you couldn't stop.
Yeah.
That was cookie, you know.
And he used to be, and he was really good promoter and everything too, because he used to be on Sesame Street. I mean, he
That
used
I
to be
didn't know.
a lot,
Mm, I didn't know
very
that.
good marketer. Marketing.
Mm,
It's just a shame that he had to sell the company.
I know. I was
And I
so
know,
mad when he did that.
isn't he an ancestor now?
Yeah.
Didn't he pass away?
Hmm.
Lord have mercy.
But that's what these Aborigine guys, they've taken the more science and they took everything except the Moor parts. They say they're not Moors. So this is why they're having such a hard time pushing their paradigm and people are not buying it. People are like,
Because people know. And it's
yeah,
disrespectful. It's disrespectful, just like me and someone else, we was having a conversation and we were talking about a lot of things that even with the Nation of Islam, with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that people don't give him the credit for.
hmm,
And but yet they still pushing the same kind of, ideology and stuff. And they don't give the Moors the credit. That's what's so disrespectful about it.
exactly,
Because
exactly.
they're not giving the Moors, the honorable noble Drew Ali, they're not giving him his due. And that's
Hmm.
what I find to be very disrespectful.
Yeah,
You didn't come from, even the Bible says that, nothing's new under the sun.
Right. Exactly. Then this guy also, MOI, he says that Marcus Garvey came here and he went to New York, straight to New York, and why didn't he beat up with Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois? And I'm like, and he said, he didn't. He went to New York because that's where all the West Indians were, and he never went down to the South. Well, our people in the South was like, don't bring that here. And again, this
No,
guy's a
that's
clown.
not true. Because
That's
what
not
I
true.
no, because Booker T. Washington died. Didn't he
Thank
write letters?
you. Thank you.
He died.
Thank you. I said that in
He passed. Yeah, he passed
yeah,
away. He
I
never got
said
a chance to meet with him.
I said that in if you go back and you look at my previous discussions on Garvey, I brought that up.
Yeah, he
Okay.
passed.
That's why I say this guy MOI is a clown because he's, and I'm telling him in the chat, I'm saying, what are you talking about, bro? I'm like, he said, God, a lot of people was like, don't bring that. People down south, he's saying, a lot of people was like, don't bring that back to Africa stuff down here. And he said because God, that's why Garvey went to New York straight to the West Indies. I'm like, that's not true because Garvey had the largest movement of our people of
Oh
all
yeah.
times.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And he had
Worldwide.
branches of his organization all over this country and all over the world. Okay.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and he had plenty of chapters in the South. So I don't know what this guy's talking about. That's why he didn't want me on the show and he blocked me because he knew that I was gonna expose that.
Didn't Queen Mother Moore before? Didn't she was one of the people when she was down there, Iberia, Louisiana? She was trying to get him to come or something like that. I had heard.
Yeah, there was some. Yeah, some. She has some affiliations with Garvey, is what I heard.
Yeah, when she was a young woman. She was a very young
Hmm.
woman then, and they were trying to get him down there in Louisiana to speak.
Hmm.
But I guess it just didn't, work out or pan out. So after Booker T Washington died, then I think that's when he decided to come to New York.
Right. That's
Yeah,
and I brought that up.
call him. He
I
came
brought
to
that.
Harlem.
Yeah, matter of fact, I told MOI in the chat. I said, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, one of Garvey's main purposes for coming here was to meet with Booker T.
Yeah,
Washington.
yes, because they
You
had been
know,
conversing. Well, not conversing, but they had been they wrote letters. They were writing letters. But I think by the time he got here,
he
he
died.
had already, he had passed.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah.
So these guys don't even have the proper timeline. You
Yeah.
know, they're just going by people like MOI. They just learn from memes and things they heard other people say. They don't read books. You know,
They don't
they,
do the
they,
original research.
they don't do original research. You know,
Yeah.
and it's just sad. It's really sad. And I'm seeing lately. You have people doing these debates and stuff like that. And, you have to, if you're gonna, debate people who are in that African centered mind frame, you got to come with your A game. You know, I was just on there just trying to share information. I wasn't trying to make him look bad, but if you come out before the world and you say silly things like that, you're not going to have a large following because people are going to just say these are just nutcases. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's going to take you seriously in an academic setting.
And I mean, he was so worldwide. Look at Malcolm. Malcolm was born in Nebraska. His father was a
His
Garveyite.
father was both. Matter of fact, both his parents were Garveyites. Both of
His
them.
parents were Garveyite. His mother wrote for what was the paper? The Black World. What was the paper?
The Negro World.
The Negro World. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
His mother wrote for the Negro World.
Yeah. And he this M.O.I guy, he was, talking about Garvey about that. Why was he referring to our people as Negro, this, that, and the other? First of all, this is what our people were calling themselves at the time.
Yeah, he was a product of his time. Yeah.
And he even tried to address that issue. See, but he's not, this guy, M.O.I, he's not learning enough. Like I say, I was studying this stuff probably before this guy was even born. I was teaching this stuff probably before he was born, so he doesn't know what he's talking about. Garvey tried to address, all of that stuff, but again, the people, that's why they had the whole convention, talking about, what we're going to call our people, and they came up with the, the Black Bill of Rights and this, that, and the other. There's a whole history behind that, but, you don't come to, another country and, you try to, shake up too much. You got to kind of meet the people where they're at. That's why yeah. And that's why he was called the John the Baptist, to prepare the way for Noble Drew Ali, who would take it to that next level.
I thought they were contemporaries.
They were contemporaries, but he was before, his movement was before movies. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, not that long before.
No, couldn't be no more
not
than
that long before.
At the most 10 years.
No, not that long. I think it was like maybe
5.
No, I think maybe 2 years, maybe.
Yeah, because they're really contemporaries of
each other. Yeah,
they're
contemporaries. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't have on my notes in front of me, but it was just a couple of years.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Because didn't he come, from what I understand, before Garvey came here, didn't he was like a world traveler.
Yeah.
He
exactly.
left Jamaica.
Yeah, and he was in England.
Yeah, he was in England.
Studying under Dusay Muhammad.
That's right. And I think that he had went to Central and South America. Didn't he go down that way too?
I can't remember. I think yeah. He was all over because
and that's when he realized that black folks was doing bad. It wasn't just in Jamaica they were doing bad, but black folks was doing bad everywhere.
Everywhere, and he realized that, and that's why
he just probably thought it was just his plight.
Yeah, and that's why he was trying to unify all of our people, because he noticed that wherever you go, our people suffered from the same ills.
Yeah.
And so he traveled to many different places.
He was a world traveler.
Yeah, and so he had branches of his organization all over the world.
Yeah.
And
the Black Star, and he had that ship,
the Black Star Line,
the
Black Trucking Line.
Oh, I didn't know he had no trucks.
Oh yeah, it's a whole, like I say, there's a whole lot that you could do about. I could go on for about another year just talking about.
Wow, I didn't know they had. I know they had, but then I had heard that the people that was advising him about those boats, that they weren't giving him good advice, and they weren't they weren't working, or he was being sabotaged.
He was being sabotaged,
depending on his advisors to give him proper information, and they weren't giving him the proper information.
Mm-hmm.
And the boats were sabotaged.
Yep. Yeah.
Lord,
it's true. And so a lot of people don't know Garvey spoke multiple languages.
Oh, I believe that.
Oh, he did. He spoke perfect Spanish.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
I didn't know he spoke multiple languages.
Yeah, because he had to. That's how he was able to build such a large following, because his thing is that, I got to be able to communicate with our people wherever they are. You see what I'm saying? See, but these people who are talking about Garvey, they don't know their ass from their elbow.
Mm-hmm. he might have went to Cuba, because Cuba is not that far from. If you look at the map,
Right.
Cuba and I think it's like 40 miles too. They're very close.
Yeah.
Cuba is very close.
MOI doesn't know his ass from his elbow.
You have to know
So
geography too.
right. So he's saying all this stuff, and he's talking about, well, Garvey never went to Africa. Yeah, but Garvey had chapters of his organization in Africa.
In Africa, yeah.
Okay,
He
that you
never
don't
went
know.
to the mother. He never went to the motherland. No.
So now guess what though? See, now MOI is gonna take notes, and so you're getting your education now, MOI. See, because
Oh
this stuff that I'm saying now, he doesn't know. So you can go to real school, MOI. Okay, and I guarantee you he's gonna go back and he's gonna regurgitate this information, when he does his lectures and stuff like that, as if he came up with it. Which people
Oh,
always taking my information and
but let me ask
acting
you
like
a
they
question
came up
about
with
it.
it anyway.
When Noble Drew, how old was Noble Drew Ali when he passed?
Shoot, Noble
I don't
Drew.
think he was that old.
He wasn't that
He was
old.
a young man.
Yeah. Shoot, he was I think he was in his, I want to say in his 30s. Let me see.
I don't even think if he was in his 40s, he was in his early 40s. I don't think he was that old.
Let me see right now.
Because I always thought, like, what did he pass away from?
Well, that's another topic in and of itself. They say tuberculosis. Wait, hold on. Let me see.
TB?
Let me look up this.
Lord.
Hold on 1 second. I'm looking up the information we were just talking about. Let's see. Hold on. Ooh, my eyes. Let me see. Trying to. So I gotta zoom in. He was. Hold on. Let me get my wife to look at this font, because I can't see this. Hold on. Hey. Can you do me a favor? Yeah, hold on. Yeah, hold on. Hold on. That was Firebird who just called Strong
Oh,
Bed.
okay.
She she said she's watching the show,
Oh, okay. I
and
was wondering if you were still watching.
yeah, she said she's laying down sleeping watching the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so give me 1 second. Yeah, he was 43 when he
Wow.
made transition. So he was
He
young.
wasn't old.
Yeah.
He may have been poisoned or something.
Yeah, well, like I say, that's another story for another time. I don't
That's
want to,
another story.
I don't want to deviate too far from the
Mm.
topic
Just
right now.
M.O.I.
Yeah, that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah.
Um, let's see, what am I looking for
Oh, it's
here?
in the chat. The people are putting it in the chat.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, they're putting it in the chat.
mm-hmm, yeah, 43. What were we saying before that?
You're going to talk about M.O.I.
Yeah, what was I saying about him?
You were saying that he would he's probably listening and taking notes.
Oh yeah, listening and taking notes. And then he's gonna claim it as his information. But people do that to me all the time, so I'm used to
Yeah,
it.
a lot of that's your intellectual property.
Yep. I've had much intellectual property
Yeah.
taken over the
That's
years, but
that's how they put it in the court. And when you go to
mhm,
court, your intellectual property.
yep, that's how it goes. What can you
Oh
do
Lord.
about it? But
But I would like if you would do because it would I think it would be really good because a
do
lot of people need to know what he's what he even 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 Marcus Garvey what he accomplished in the 1920s and the 30s is like unbelievable.
unbelievable. Yeah, unparalleled.
This really is unparalleled. And you
Yeah,
know what? I know he had what was his office on 100? Didn't he have an office like on 7th Avenue and like 143rd or
yeah. He had his place was Liberty Hall.
yeah, where was Liberty Hall located?
Let me see. That was
135th or
I forget the exact address.
I know it was somewhere up here in Harlem.
Yeah, I forget the. I have to talk to those Garveyites.
Yeah.
But yeah. It was unparalleled, and he had the largest movement of our people of all times.
Yeah.
It hasn't been parallel up to today. He was able to organize our people on a grand scale that nobody has surpassed.
Oh
No,
yeah.
not the Nation of Islam or any of those groups.
No.
Yeah,
And they all took for what it I believe that a lot of they said Elijah Muhammad used to go to
yeah. He used to be part of the Garveyites.
yeah, that's what I
Hmm.
heard.
Yeah.
That's where the whole economic piece of his came from.
Hmm.
Now I remember them when I was young too. They were strong in the 70s. Nation
Oh
Islam
yeah.
was strong
Oh yeah.
in the 70s.
Hmm. They
But
sure were.
they were strong.
Oh
I
yeah.
remember them.
Hmm. Yes,
And I
times.
remember when they had, do you remember when, well, I'm older than you, but do you remember when they had the steak and take on 125th?
Well, I didn't grow up
Oh
in
yeah, that's
New
right.
York.
That's right. You didn't grow up here. That's right.
Yeah, I was born in New York, but I didn't grow up in. I mean, I came back, later on as a older teenager, but I
Yeah. They had a steak and
came
take.
up in the South. Yeah,
Yeah. People
yeah.
that, yeah, people that Well, they would have to be in their late 40s and the 50s. They would have old Harlemites would know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, see, I didn't even go in Harlem, back in. I didn't start going to Harlem until I was like in my late teens.
Yeah. 'Cause I was born in Sydenham Hospital.
Where?
Sydenham Hospital. You don't get no more
Just,
Harlem than that. I was
mm,
born in Sydenham Hospital. It's located on St. Nicholas and 123rd Street.
give me 1 second. Keep talking. I gotta get the my battery is about to die on this
Yeah, I
laptop.
had to
Keep
fix
talking
my
before I
phone too. Yeah,
give me
it was
1 second.
located on 123rd and St. Nicholas Avenue. Now it's a I think it's a old I don't say old folks home, but I think it's a nursing care place now. So I remember Harlem very yeah, I remember Harlem very well when I was young. Very well. It's still standing. The hospital is still standing. It still looks the same. The structure is still the same, but it's not a hospital anymore. It was one of the hospitals. As a matter of fact, under Koch. Koch closed that hospital. It was a whole big mess with that. That was like in 1980, and that dogged him for the rest of his life because he didn't try to save that. He didn't do enough to save that hospital. And that's when there was a lot more activists that was around. A lot of these people are gone now, and I mean it was a big fight over that hospital closing. Not only that hospital, I don't know if anybody else remember Knickerbocker that was on Convent. That hospital was closed too. And so basically the only hospital that you have in Harlem, Central Harlem now is Harlem Hospital.
Okay, I'm back. You
Yeah.
saying about Harlem Hospital?
Yeah, what I was doing was giving a little history that when Koch came, after the fiscal year crisis in 1976, right?
Mm-hmm.
After Abe Beam's mayorship, Abe Beam saved our asses from going default too,
Mm.
because he was the controller, so he knew where all the money was buried. But when Koch came in 1980, Koch came in. It was a whole big thing on the hospital, on Sydenham Hospital. And Koch didn't do enough to save. It was a whole big fight because I was reading the Amsterdam News even then. I was young then. I was a teenager.
Yeah,
And
I used to read the Amsterdam News as a teenager too.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
as a teenager, I was reading the Amsterdam News. And it was a whole big fight over that. I mean, it was a lot. A lot of people that are dead now was fighting in that. And he claimed he didn't have the money to keep the hospital open. And they also closed Knickerbocker. But people that are older know what I'm talking about. An old Harlemite know what I'm talking about.
Mm.
You know. Yeah, A Beam laid off teachers while I was studying early. Yeah, he laid off people too, but he kept the thing about it, he kept the city going. Because basically, the way I remember this very 1976. There was big signs, big headlines. New York go to hell. Ford basically told us to deal with it. Yeah, but it was Beam that kept the city going. Oh, you grew up in Harlem. Okay, Beam kept the city going. Yeah, he was the controller for many years. AB was the controller for many years. And I remember those days too. I remember those days too. And I
Stinking
know
David
you
Dinkins.
folks too. Hmm?
She made a comment about Dinkins. She said Dinkins is stinking, and says Khaled, Dr. Khaled used to call him Stinking David Dinkins.
Oh, he had a name for everybody. Hook nose.
Bagel eating.
He was funny, boy.
Oh man, for
He
real.
was hilarious.
For real.
Yeah.
He sure was.
What Dinkins, all these people, you gotta remember, these people are elitists. Him, you know, they like what they call them, the big four. Him, what was the other one? They Basil Patterson, Charlie
David
Rangel.
Patterson. Yeah.
Yeah, Charlie Rangel, and what's his name?
He used to call him somebody. Who was it?
Malcolm Lawyer.
I think Brother Dawood used to call him Charlie Strangle.
Yeah, Charlie Rangel. He the only one left. Everybody else is dead. Charlie the only one alive. Everybody, the whole four, the big four that ran, it was the big six. Was it big six or the big four that ran Harlem? But it was, what's his name? One that was Malcolm's lawyer. Percy Sutton.
Oh yeah. Khaled used to call him Percy Nuttin.
Yeah,
Percy Sutton. He said Khaled said Percy Nuttin.
Yeah, and all of them died. Patterson died. Dinkins died. And they never gave Dinkins.
No. It's Dawood. Dawood called him Percy Nuttin. Yeah.
Okay, Dawood called him. Okay. They never gave Mayor Dinkins his. I mean, he got, like, when you go down on 1 Center Street, he has a building name after him, the David N. Dinkins building. You know, they did that, but you don't even hear them. All they talk about is Koch with his devil men. You never hear them talk about Dinkins.
Right.
It's very sad. Percy Sutton and them is one who resurrected Harlem. I mean, the Showtime at Apollo.
Right, exactly.
After what's his name? Guy Fisher had it in the 70s, you know. You know, Guy Fisher that ran with what's his name? Nicky Barnes.
Mm-hmm.
He had it in the 70s. He had resurrected it in the 70s.
Yeah, my father used to be up there all the time.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Matter of fact, he won there at the Apollo 4 weeks in a row.
Oh, really? He was singing?
Back in the
back in the day, yeah.
That was before it was, you know, they rebuilt it.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember they had this show. It used to come on TV, the Showtime at the Apollo and all
yeah.
That was afterwards.
But yeah, that's after, that's when inner broadcasting took it over. It was Rangel, Dinkins, and Patterson, and it was Percy Sutton.
Right.
They were the big four. Percy Sutton, and all of them are dead. Rangel is the only one who's still alive. And they ran Charlie against Adam. That's how they did him. That's how they did Adam Clayton Powell. They ran Charlie against Adam.
Right.
He ain't, and I don't like, Lord, let me don't even start talking. Yeah, Adam was really one that he did a lot. And I'm gonna tell you, not only he did a lot for Harlem, he did a lot for Black people in these city and civil jobs too. I could tell you that because driving buses and all that, I remember when I was a little girl, they were white drivers. Adam fought for all of that. That MTA and these city jobs and all these jobs that white people had, these jobs back in the day. Black people still, you know, I'm not saying everybody was, you know, somebody's domestic.
Yeah.
They couldn't get those kind of jobs. Maybe, you know, being an operator. And he also, yes, the Bloomingdale's, you know Bloomstein's. You know Bloomstein's on 125th Street? The store?
Bloomstein's
Seventh
where?
Avenue on this side of the street, on the side going east. Bloomstein's. He had a big.
Yeah.
He said,
Oh, okay.
"Buy where you can't. Don't buy where you can't work."
Mm.
Con Ed, that's right. She said a telephone company. He's the one. He did all of that. He's the reason why we have financial aid is because of Adam. The reason he's the one when he said on that committee, he said on that education committee, and he's the one that started pushing all that free financial aid.
Oh, okay.
Let me tell you, he did a lot.
Yeah, that's what
He did a hell of
heard.
a lot. He don't get his due either. He did a lot. I would say he did more for us than Dr. King did. And I'm not trying to discredit Dr. King. Don't get me wrong. Everybody has their place in their niche, but he did a lot more for than what Dr. King did up there marching. And people getting beat upside the head sitting in, what is that? Lunch counters.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the economics.
The economics.
He started doing protests in the 30s.
Mm.
In the 30s, he started organizing protests when he was sitting on the city council. Because if I'm not mistaken, yes, the health, education, and welfare, he was the real minister of information. He fought hard.
Mm-hmm.
He really did. He fought hard. And he wasn't scary either.
Right, exactly.
He wasn't scary. And he didn't have to do what he did because he came from a very well, known and very well. He could have been the talented Tem too.
Mm-hmm.
But he came from that. His father also, he came from that. So his father was also very involved with politics and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
Father and mother come out of Virginia.
Oh, yeah?
Both came out of Virginia. They say they were slaves. His mother, and they said they were slaves. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he was born in Mecklenburg County.
Oh, he's from Mecklenburg?
I believe so. I could be wrong. He's not from over there where my father and them from. He's from, I think, from Mecklenburg or somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
And they came to New York. Yeah. And his mother.
I'm just realizing the time. And my wife has been waiting patiently. She's got her jaw stuck out. Her mouth is stuck out. Her mouth is stuck out from here to the train station. Because I told her I would just be half an hour doing the live.
Oh Lord. Yes, he loved peeing as Hazel Scott. Yeah, he loved politics more than her. You should do a show on her. She was heavy too, Hazel Scott, she was heavy too. She was a fighter too. So I can see why she married him. I can see she fought too. She would never take any degrading roles. No, she was a heavyweight. Hazel Scott.
Yeah, maybe you can talk about her.
You know who did a thing on her? It's Ashley Says So. If I'm not mistaken, Ashley Says So. If people ever watch her, she does exposés on people, and she did one, I think, on her. Or either it was T.I.'s on T.I. Hot Mess History. They did that. And it talked about her when she grew up. She come from Trinidad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she came from Trinidad. But I better stop talking. I don't want your wife to. They say happy life, happy wife.
Exactly. Yeah, she. When you get that look,
Tired of you.
She ain't smiling.
No, she's tired now.
So and she got the broom in her hand too,
Oh,
she just got finished sweeping. So
oh Lord.
So a combination of that look and the broom in her hand,
oh Lord,
is not a good mix. So I'm gonna get off of here.
All right.
And, yeah, it was good to be back. And I will. I'll we'll do this again very soon. Maybe on the weekend.
All righty.
Okay then.
Thank you for calling.
All righty.
All right
Donna
then.
Donna Da.
I don't know how Donna. I don't know how to get off. I guess you just cut it off then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And then you just hang up and then it'll be
All right.
okay then.
All right. Take care.
You too. All right, folks. And I thank you all for joining in. I think we proved our point. Again, this was just off the cuff. You know, I didn't have time to access my files on Garvey. I got a lot more on that topic. I was just doing it without my notes and off of my head, but I got plenty of information on Garvey. We could go deeper into Garvey and his history. Again, you know, if you're trying to apply a modern day ideology to what our people were doing back in the early 1900s and 1800s, you know, you're not gonna, none of this stuff is really gonna make sense. So you have to put yourself in that particular day. You have to go into a time machine and go back, okay, and study what was going on with our people, where were their minds at that time, okay, and just go back and look at some of the old videos. We talked about that, and I'll drop even further information regarding that on the next presentation. So the next lecture. So again, thanks again. And until the next time, do da da, go